Insider reporter John Blair lists his group of rookie standouts. Bruce Arians of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers mentions how Kyle Trask has looked fantastic. He's done a great job of picking up the Tampa Bay offense and showed good command in the huddle for a rookie. Trask had also displayed his accuracy that made him a Heisman candidate at Florida. In Chicago, Justin Fields has demonstrated great leadership and has shown his strong arm and had great zip on the ball. In Jacksonville, running back Travis Etienne has shown off his versatility. He will be seeing time at both wide receiver and running back this year. In Baltimore, while addressing the media, John Harbaugh mentioned that Rashad Bateman has already made a good first impression, and he looks as good as advertised when the team picked him number 27th overall. Although it's difficult for a lineman to make a good first impression without pads on, Detroit Lions defensive tackle Alim McNeill has shown impressive quickness for a player his size. He will likely see significant playing time on the Lions defensive line in this upcoming season. NFL.com writes the NFL will review alleged comments made to Eugene Chung in an interview. Chung, who's Asian American, said last week when interviewing recently with an NFL team he was told that he was not the right minority. Chung, 51, played in the NFL for 8 years as an offensive lineman. He was drafted in the first round by the New England Patriots in 1992. He also spent time with the Jacksonville Jaguars, Indianapolis Colts, Kansas City Chiefs, and Philadelphia Eagles. Chung served as the Eagles' assistant offensive line coach from 2010 to 2012, and the Chiefs' assistant offensive line coach from 2013 to 2015 under Andy Reid. He returned to Philadelphia in 2016, again to serve as the offensive line coach, this time under Doug Peterson. Chung's contract expired following the 2019 season, and he's not coached since. Bleacher Report's Timothy Rapp stated that unsurprisingly Aaron Rodgers did not report for the Green Bay Packers organized team activities on Monday. The offseason program minus the minicamp is not mandatory, so Rodgers won't be facing any fines. However, he's already cost himself $500,000 in offseason workout bonuses. This has been a primary storyline in the NFL all season. The quarterback's absence Monday indicates that nothing has changed in the standoff between the Packers and Rodgers. As pictures surface of Aaron Rodgers living it up in Hawaii, Adam Schefter reports that Aaron Rodgers wasn't the only Packer missing from OTAs. So were the Green Bay's top 5 wide receivers. Adams, MVS, Lazard, Funchess, and St. Brown were all gone. So Jordan Love had to work with a makeshift wide receiver core. Gary Davenport of Bleacher Report reports that the Tim Tebow signing shows Urban Meyer's in over his head as the Jaguars head coach. The Jaguars owner turned over the reins of the franchise to head coach Urban Meyer, who won a staggering 85.4% of his games at the college level, including 3 national championships. Although fans remain optimistic with the Lawrence draft, the head coach has made a number of puzzling moves, punctuated by the signing of washed-up former quarterback to play tight end. The Tebow Mania sideshow has come to Jacksonville, and with it Meyer has demonstrated something quite clearly. Davenport states, he's in over his head. The former NFL quarterback had tried to play tight end before on the Jets, and former teammate Greg McElroy stated it was a mess. The Jets tried switching him to tight end and he wasn't good, McElroy stated recently on SiriusXM. That's what people don't acknowledge. Tim is a good dude and I hope the best for him, but it's a sideshow. Tebow has had 1 career NFL receiving target, and it hit him right in the face mask. Bleacher Report Gridiron gave us a quote today from Dak Prescott. If we had to play a game now, I feel like I can go out there. If you recall, Dak Prescott suffered a season-ending ankle fracture in Week 5 of the 2020 season against the New York Giants. Before the injury, Dak Prescott and the Cowboys had the number 1 ranked offense in the league. The 27-year-old was on pace to obliterate the single-season passing record held by Peyton Manning. Unfortunately, after Dak's injury, the Dallas Cowboys had a rotation of backup quarterbacks and the offense was never able to get back on track. Cody Benjamin of CBS Sports reports that the Texans' Deshaun Watson is skipping OTAs, and he still wants to be traded amid lawsuits. Deshaun Watson is still under investigation by the NFL for facing 22 civil lawsuits alleging sexual assault or misconduct. It remains to be seen if and when he'll return to the field. The Pro Bowl quarterback has not yet been suspended amid his legal situation, so he could technically report to the Texans' OTAs in preparation for the 2021 season. Watson plans to do no such thing, as the quarterback intends to skip the voluntary offseason program and still wants to be traded. Even if the quarterback's never criminally charged or suspended, it seems that he's determined to play elsewhere, and the Texans have all but confirmed as much with their actions, using their first pick of the 2021 draft on quarterback David Mills, and also signing former Chargers starter Tyrod Taylor. In our last video, we covered the most recent news of the Julio Jones saga of the 2021 offseason. Here are the latest updates. Bleacher Report's Rob Goldberg writes that Julio Jones requested a trade a few months ago, and the team had been listening to the offers. This report comes after Jones told Undisputed on Monday that he's leaving Atlanta. "Nah, I'm out of there, man," Julio Jones tells Shannon Sharp that he's leaving Atlanta and does not want to go to Dallas because he wants to go somewhere that he can win. Falcons Wires reporter Dean Worley states that Falcons wide receiver Julio Jones was unaware that Fox Sports 1 had him live on TV when they made the phone call. Chris Sims of NBC Sports Pro Football Talk stated that both Julio Jones and his agent are disappointed in Sharp. California is a two-party consent state, meaning both parties must be made aware they're being recorded, although it is being assumed that Julio Jones won't take any legal action at this time. Julio has 3 years left on his deal, and Atlanta will owe him $23.3 million in dead cap if they trade him before June 1st. The 2021 cap hit drops to $7.8 million if he's dealt after June 1st. Goldberg reports that the New England Patriots have reportedly had internal discussions about acquiring Jones. The Baltimore Ravens also asked about the receiver before the draft, but the talks didn't get very far. All eyes are on Atlanta, wondering what's next for Julio Jones. David Newton of ESPN writes that former tight end Greg Olsen is letting people know his son's heart is reaching its end. Olsen's son TJ, who's now 8, was born in 2012 with a conditional heart defect that required 4 surgeries, including 3 open heart procedures and the installation of a pacemaker. On Monday, Olsen announced in a series of tweets that TJ's heart was reaching its end, and it ultimately could lead to a transplant. Olsen and his wife established the Hardest Yard initiative shortly after TJ's birth. This was to raise money for the less fortunate families going through a crisis like theirs. The 3-time Pro Bowler has donated millions to the foundation and constructed a 2,500-foot square facility. TJ is in the care of the doctors at this facility, and now once again fighting for his life, and Olsen is there fighting with him. I speak for everyone here at TMM, and our thoughts and prayers are with TJ and the rest of the Olsen family. To continue on with this Deshaun Watson saga, Vincent Frank of Yardbarker reports that NFL insiders do believe Deshaun Watson will be placed on paid leave. Recent reports suggest that Watson is facing a multi-game suspension in 2021, regardless of what happens in the court of law. Under the current collective bargaining agreement, the NFL has the ability to suspend players even in the absence of criminal charges being filed or a guilty verdict. Frank questions if the league can realistically let Watson take the field with these 22 allegations. And like discussed before, there's a chance that the Texans have already tried to move on from him with their offseason moves. Meanwhile, teams that had interest in Watson earlier in the offseason have moved on to other options because the allegations became public record. For now, NFL teams are not going to trade for Watson. The Texans have added multiple options should the quarterback be forced to sit out of the 2021 season. Frank reports whether it's via paid leave, also known as the commissioner's exempt list, or suspension, it's highly unlikely we're going to see Watson on the field come week 1. According to ESPN's Dan Graziano, the NFL and the NFL Players Union agree to set the 2022 salary cap ceiling at $208.2 million. This doesn't mean that the 2022 salary cap will be at $208.2 million, just that that's the highest it can possibly be. Should the figure go beyond that, the extra money would be used to accelerate the timetable for paying back the player benefits that were canceled last year. Cameron Wolfe of ESPN reports that former NFL wide receiver Chad Johnson is training for the June 6 exhibition boxing match. Johnson will be the opening fight of the pay-per-view portion of the Floyd Mayweather-Logan Paul card on June 6th. Johnson will face bare-knuckle fighter Brian Maxwell in a 4-round exhibition bout. Johnson states that he anticipates this fight will be a one-time thing for now, but he's treating it seriously. His opponent Maxwell is 0-3 in bare-knuckle fights, losing 2 fights by knockouts. He's 0-1 in a standard boxing fight and 2-3 in MMA fights. Maxwell is a professional fighter and Johnson is not, so despite the subpar record, Wolfe reports that Maxwell still has the advantage. The NFL's all-time scoring leader, Adam Vinatieri, announced Wednesday that he's retiring after 24 seasons, Mike Well of ESPN reports. Vinatieri, 48, a 3-time Pro Bowl selection, and a first-team All-Pro pick 3 times. He scored 2,673 points and made a record 599 field goals for the New England Patriots and Indianapolis Colts. He's made 29 game-winning kicks in his career, 2 of them being in Super Bowls. Vinatieri leaves the game with the most Super Bowl rings of any kicker in league history. A fun TMM fact for you guys: Adam Vinatieri and Marshall Faulk are the same age. The difference is, the Hall of Fame running back retired in 2007, 14 years before the All-Pro kicker. Adam Wells of Bleacher Report reports that the 4th edition of the Capital One's The Match will feature a foursome of Phil Mickelson teaming up with Tom Brady to take on Bryson DeChambeau and Aaron Rodgers in a showdown for charity. It didn't take long after the announcement to have Brady start trash-talking against his opponents. Rodgers and Brady have already established themselves as 2 of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. Rodgers was named the NFL MVP last season, but Brady won his 7th Super Bowl title in his first year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The 2 quarterbacks will team up with professional golfers and go head-to-head July 6th. ESPN staff writer Michael DeRocco reports on Jacksonville's OTAs. A picture of Tim Tebow at Jacksonville training camp has been blowing up all over Twitter. Different tweets about how big Tebow's looking and how he's been hitting the gym. In Jacksonville, Tebow's transition from quarterback seems to be going smoothly, but unfortunately, things for Trevor Lawrence have been a little shaky. Tebow caught every pass thrown his way, including 2 touchdowns, one from Lawrence and another from Gardner Minshew. One good thing for the Jaguars is Tebow has not seemed to be a distraction, which seemed to be the big criticism when the team signed Tebow. Urban Meyer stated that Lawrence was accurate on Wednesday's workout, but had a tough time during the red zone on Thursday. Lawrence overthrew 4 passes and had 2 others broken up. Myers also stated it's normal for a rookie quarterback to struggle in the compressed area when facing NFL defenses. Lawrence was also limited to 30 to 40 throws because Meyer has him on a pitch count as he recovers from his off-season surgery. Adam Schefter took to Twitter to report that free agent running back Todd Gurley is in Detroit today to visit with the Lions. If he were to sign with Detroit, Gurley would be reunited with Jared Goff and be in the backfield with another former Georgia standout, DeAndre Swift. Contradictory to earlier reports, Jason LaCanfora of CBS Sports reports that it will be tough for Atlanta to get a first-round pick in a Julio Jones trade. LaCanfora reports that he spoke with 3 team executives. All are skeptical of the Falcons having an offer of a first-round pick for Julio. One executive even saying, if they have a high 2 for him, they should take it and run. LaCanfora believes that if they can get a first-rounder for him, You'll see the trade announced very early next week, and it's thought that New England would be the prime team that would trade a first-round pick. Although Belichick did give up a second-round pick for Mohamed Sanu 2 years ago with Atlanta, under a different regime, but this didn't work out so well in Belichick's favor, and he might have a better read of the landscape this time around. Madeline Coleman of Sports Illustrated reports that Brandon Jacobs is eyeing an NFL return as a defensive end. With Tim Tebow's return to the gridiron, Brandon Jacobs announces that he wants to make his NFL comeback. The 38-year-old said on Twitter, "I will play defensive end for whatever team gives me a chance." A few hours later, he added, "I'm really serious about coming back as a defensive end. I can still run, I'm strong, and there's no way Tim Tebow is a better athlete than I am. I just need a shot, that's it." Jacobs, who's listed at 6'4", 264 pounds, last played in the league in 2013, 1 year after Tebow's final regular season game. Jacobs is a two-time Super Bowl champion with the Giants. Through 9 seasons, he rushed for 5,094 yards and 60 rushing touchdowns. AL.com reports that Mac Jones is wearing number 50 in his first practice as a New England Patriot. Although the NFL has expanded its jersey number choices for defensive backs, linebackers, running backs, tight ends, and wide receivers, a quarterback must wear a number from 1 to 19. So why is Jones number 50? When rookies arrive, the Patriots annually assign initial numbers based on the draft order. The first player drafted by New England always wears the number 50. And this season, it's Jones, who was drafted out of Alabama with the 15th overall pick. The quarterback's real number must be assigned to him before the first preseason game. Both Mac Jones and Cam Newton have been working on the field this week as New England started Phase 3 of its off-season program. Kendrick Bourne stated this of Jones, "Good energy, awesome guy. You can tell he's happy to be here. Comes to work and you can just feel his energy and his leadership already. He has swag to him that I didn't know he had at first. He's out there confident, and that's what you need in a quarterback." NBC Sports' Mike Florio reports that Packers are not budging on the Aaron Rodgers trade possibility. June 2nd becomes a new phase for a potential trade. After June 2nd, it chops the cap hit for Rodgers' trade by $11.5 million. Florio reports that it's still highly unlikely that a trade will occur. Rodgers wants out. The Packers want to keep him, and only time will tell whether he shows up for the mandatory minicamp or training camp. NBC Sports reports it would be a surprise if he doesn't show up. He says he loves his teammates, his coaches, the fans. Why would he choose to play for no one over playing for the Packers? He'd lose $14.7 million in salary, he'd forfeit $11.5 in previously paid signing bonuses, and he'd sacrifice a $6.8 million roster bonus earned earlier this year. Also, at 37, he would be sacrificing one of his limited years left in the league. We're just going to have to wait the 2 months to see if he shows up before the first game of the year. TMZ reports that the Tennessee Titans' JANORIS Jenkins had his Rolls-Royce stolen from the Atlanta airport. The Atlanta Police Department stated that they've opened an investigation into a stolen vehicle. The police say that Jenkins reported the car missing May 26 and they've immediately taken action. JANORIS Jenkins claims someone took his $250,000 Rolls-Royce after he parked it at the Atlanta airport, but no one seems to have any idea where it went. Jenkins says he immediately complained to management and followed up with various staff members, along with officials from City of Atlanta Aviation, but no one gave him any answers. "They gave me the complete runaround," Jenkins said. "I was told they had the footage of my vehicle arriving, but no footage of it leaving. Nothing makes sense." The NFL star is clearly upset about the car, but seems to be more frustrated with the way he was treated by the airport officials. The Browns' revamped defensive line shows off their muscles as pictures surface on Twitter of Takk McKinley, Jadeveon Clowney, and Myles Garrett, all showing how hard they've been working in the weight room this offseason. That's going to wrap it up for our NFL news. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to TMM and click the bell to be notified whenever we post in the future. Stay tuned.